Hello and welcome to Tune Into Wellness Today. My name is Lisa Marie and I am the host of your show. If you have been watching Tune Into Wellness Today over the past 3.5 years, you recognize that what I do for you is offer you a variety of wellness practitioners. We're all about natural wellness, and you have had the opportunity to learn from some amazing professionals in the community, in the Capital District and surrounding areas, ways to be happy, healthy, and well without medications and without medical care. Now, when I do say that, please understand that I'm not advocating you stop your medical care, but I'm advocating that you learn about natural wellness modalities, services, and products that are out there so that you can take your health into your hands. And that is what Tune Into Wellness Today is about and has always been about. Today, I have two amazing guests that are going to speak to you about their programs and services, and both of them include nature and the healing, loving aspects of nature, being out and about in it. Without further ado, my first guest today is Deborah Neary. Deborah Neary is the president and owner of a company called Deborah Neary Photography. Deborah grew up in the southern coast of England. And at that time, when she was a young girl, she realized how much nature was very healing, how nature revealed to her the healing aspects of the forest and the waters and the beaches. And she took that healing knowledge and wisdom to where she is today to start her photography studio, which she runs a Woman in Nature's program, and she's going to tell us all about what that is. Welcome, Deborah. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great, thanks.
Thank you for being here with us today.
You're welcome.
So what I would love for you to share with all of us is your Woman in Nature program, what that is. Tell me again how you were inspired to start that program, and then what it is, and then I want to hear about all the benefits of that program.
Oh, okay. Well, to be honest with you, the reason that it came about was I was asked by, I don't know if you know the story, but I was asked by a good friend of mine who's a life coach. And I was at a workshop and he was asking everyone, what would you do if you could just do it, if it was just something that you loved? And then he suddenly, the microphone was right under me and he's asking me, well, what would you do, if you could just do anything? And I said, well, I'd go to the woods and I'd bring a friend with me, and that's what I like to do. And that's actually, quite honestly, how the idea was born for me. It was, and everybody in the room was like, I want to do that, sounds great. And it just became this thing. We decided it would be called Woman in Nature, WIN for short.
WIN for short, exactly.
It was just, this life coach was amazing. He just came up with, let's call it WIN. And it was so instantaneous that it just felt so right. And then, I just started to get clients from there and build upon the experience and realize, once I'd done that, how significant an experience it is for every single one of my clients.
And we're gonna speak about that in a moment. But tell me, when you were a child in England and you said that you were walking the beaches and you were by the water and the forest spoke to you, essentially revealed to you its healing nature. Was there an experience that occurred or experiences that you can recall?
Well, I've always been really dreamy, and when I'm in nature, it's like I can almost see faces. Sometimes I literally do see faces in the trees, and I point them out, and sometimes I'll photograph them, and then I can show people, look, it's actually, it's not just my imagination, it's actually here. So I've just always felt really comfortable in natural settings. I've always felt really at peace, and that's never really changed. So, that's why my answer was, this is what I want to do, because that's where I feel myself most, and where I feel like I can relate, and I'm being related to. I have an example with Neary with the wings, where it feels like nature's playing with me, and then we're all part of the same thing. We are nature, so I feel like I'm tuning into that.
We're all part of the same energy, and what the audience will see on the screen is a picture of this woman you're speaking about, Neary, who just seemed to grow wings during this photography shoot. So they will see that. Now, your Women in Nature photography shoot is a 2-hour period of time where women are out in a setting in Saratoga Springs, magical Saratoga Springs, where they choose the setting, whether it's forest, waters, park? I mean, is that
usually? Some people know exactly where they want to be. You know, when we first start the consultation or talking about the idea, some of my clients know exactly what they want. Some of them know they want to be nude, for example, or topless, and therefore we choose a place that is private so that, you know, they can feel comfortable there. Other people, you know what kind of gown they want to wear, and they want to be coming out of a pond or out of water, and they want to play with that idea. And then other people have no idea. They just know that they want to do something like this. And one of the things that's so healing about it is a lot of people are really uncomfortable with the idea, but they know they really want it. And so there's this process that takes place right before. There's fear, there's
apprehension.
Yeah, that's the word. I'm trying to think. It's not so much fear, that's almost the wrong word. It's just not knowing what to expect, you know, and thinking maybe I've got an agenda and I'm going to make them do something they don't want to do, or I don't know, but everybody's different. But I've noticed that every single person is a little nervous, at least nervous about it. And then on the way back from the shoot, it's all about how it felt and how amazing they felt and how they related to that tree or how that water just spoke to them. And I get that every single time. It's amazing to me.
And that's the healing piece of Women in Nature, which is why I have you on the show today, because it's not just photography, not to knock photography, but it's a healing aspect of photography. It's being in nature, which is healing for all of us, right? When we take that time to go out and be among the trees and the skies and so on and so forth. So people are walking in apprehensive, nervous, and they're walking out calm, peaceful. But I would guess, and please correct me if I'm wrong, they're also probably feeling some sort of empowerment through this process. Do you see that with these women?
A lot of it is falling in love with themselves, you know, and just being surprised at how easy and fun it was. You know, one person that I was shooting, I kept wanting to show her. I'm like, oh my God, this is great, I want to show this to you. And she's like, no, just keep shooting. And afterwards she told me, for her it was the attention that she was getting from me that meant so much. And she loves the pictures and she's using them all over the place, but it was the experience in itself of having another woman admiring her beauty, and then she realized how beautiful she was. And she'd never experienced that in her life. So, I mean, that was unusual. I never had that response before, but every single one has a different. You
know, that is so beautiful. And you know, in other cultures in the world, in a time gone past, women did nurture women. There's a great book called The Red Tent, and there's many stories like that where we would sit together, right? We would support one another. They just do not see that. And I think even if you go back in the 40s and 50s when the Tupperware craze was on, that was the concept, though, of being among other women. There's something healing about that. And in today's world, we're just not there, you know, because women are working today, and it's a very different dynamic. So it is beautiful, and we do want the attention of another woman, the good attention of another woman, and that support of that woman. As wonderful as men are, women can relate to women much better than a man can relate to a woman, right? So I hear empowerment, I hear falling in love with themselves.
Self-awareness. I mean, I thought that was amazing that this particular person recognized that in herself when was able to verbalize it.
Yes.
You know, I thought it was just amazing to me, and so that's the thing. It just keeps happening every time I do a shoot. There's all these elements of surprise because you're in the forest or you're in nature. There's nothing predictable about it, and that's part of the fun. We have a certain, loose guidelines as to what we're there for, and then we end up getting, like the wings, all these amazing surprises when we get the pictures back.
So in that shoot with Neary, you're speaking about what happened? She's in the water, right?
Actually, she's not in the water, and we're at Yado.
Okay.
And we're near the water. I think you see the water in the background, which is why you think we're in the water. Neary, I'm sure she won't mind me telling everybody this, but she always thought of herself as a fairy when she was young, but even now, as an adult, she thinks of herself as a higher being, as a fairy-like being. And so Yado is very magical anyway.
Please tell people what Yado is. I obviously know.
Well, it's an artist retreat in Saratoga Springs. I think it's exit 14? Yes, exit 14. It's just gorgeous in there. It has a
Very spiritual.
rose garden, a beautiful building that you usually can't get in unless there's a tour going on, but it's an artist retreat, basically, and there's a public area, and it's all very magical in there.
It's beautiful, very
Yeah.
magical.
So you know, she mentioned the fairy. So we're back in the woods, and there's this little patch of light in between the trees coming through. And I just said, sort of as a joke, you know, go jump around in that light patch there and act like a fairy or something. Dance around like a fairy, I think I said. She's like, sure. She goes over and she's like jumping and dancing and doing these great little fairy poses, and I'm shooting away. And I didn't notice this, but when I got back and I was processing and looking through the photographs, I could see fairy wings, like little fairy wings. They were created by the branches out in the distance that were sort of coming down and landing on her back. And when I did a little bit of Photoshop, very, very little, by taking out the branch that was coming down so that it looks like it's connected to her, but I didn't create these wings. They were there, you know.
It's beautiful.
And she loved that because, you know, she thinks of herself as a fairy. And to me, it's proof that nature is aware. There's an awareness that us humans, I think, are going to understand in the future.
A knowing. There's absolutely
Yeah,
a knowing
yeah.
among nature, among animals as well. So you do other types of photography work as well, bar mitzvahs, weddings, what else?
I love doing headshots. It's one of my favorite things to do. Sometimes I work for Saratoga Today, the newspaper in Saratoga. So anything and everything goes there, right? Whatever the event is. Let's see, what else do I do? I mean, I'm a professional photographer, so you know, I don't do a lot of studio work. I'd like to get people outside.
Outside, yes.
So
Great.
even if I'm doing a portrait, I like to see if we can do it in a more natural setting. I love studio photography. You know, I love looking at other people's, and I really appreciate how complicated that can be. But I just like to have it feel more natural. So it's my preference, really. What else? Yeah, I mean, there's whatever you can imagine.
So your Women in Nature, we heard some great benefits there. People learn to relax, love themselves, feel empowered, and all the other things. What other benefits would you like to share with the audience that you have seen specifically? Why don't you actually read a testimonial or two? Do you have
I actually
one
do.
with
I
you?
brought one. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please do
If you
that.
don't mind.
Do not give away any specific names, please, okay?
Okay. Okay, so here's one of a woman who I was photographing on private land. She knew that she wanted to do some topless, and she was with her daughter as well, and her daughter was encouraging her to go ahead. So here's what she says. We had outfits that we changed into, and the photographer took us to a property with 15 acres, a labyrinth made out of wildflowers, and a wooden swing hidden in the trees. We skipped through the labyrinth, I did yoga in the wildflowers, and we climbed in between branches of the most beautiful tree. The pictures taken there looked as if my body was part of the tree trunk. I felt so alive, so one with all, so free, so myself. It was a moment that I usually feel in my practices in glimmers and moments. Instead, this was a constant stream of joy and playfulness. I'm actually getting shivers reading this. I did not even remember I was being photographed. I thought of nothing else but that moment. At one point, as I was holding the branches of the tree, I felt this is what embodied freedom feels like. May I say, I actually got naked there, and there was the proof of how present I was. She suggested I was such an embodied moment of oneness with all around me that I felt fully covered, embraced, and clothed. Wow. I'm shy to say this now, but yeah, she's going on about how she's not using those on her website, but so that's how she was completely at
Transformed.
She was
Absolutely
at one.
transformed.
It
It's
was
beautiful. So Saratoga Springs is one of the most spiritual places here locally. I mean, I've been in other parts of the world, but locally, Saratoga Springs, Yadu, the
Park's great.
the mineral waters, that whole general area, if you just take that time to breathe it in, you can just feel the presence, you know, of the love and of the nature and of God. So love the work that you do.
Thank you.
Really do. And thank you so very much for what you do. It is very healing and empowering. If you would like more information on Deborah Neary and the work she does, if you would like to feel empowered, learn self-love, do reach out to her at deborahneary.com. Thank you. Well, I certainly do hope you enjoyed Deborah Neary and all she had to say about the work she does with women in nature. I highly encourage you to reach out to her if you would like to have your photographs done and also participate in that healing process. I now have sitting with me a gentleman by the name of Carson Tang. He is the president of Carson Worldwide. He is also the founder of an organization called Power of Mastery, which we're going to hear all about in a moment, and the founder of Festival for Change. Welcome, Carson.
Hey, Lisa Marie, it's Power Mastery is an empowerment community that helps people transform their lives from the inside out, dealing with those negative behaviors, those things that make them procrastinate, phobias, whatever the case may be, or help them break through. They're at a crossroads in their life, they can't decide where to go, and we do things which are experiential, hands-on, to create those dynamics which help them get through to the next point which they're trying to achieve, which they otherwise may not because they're stuck in a vicious circle with themselves.
That self-talk, that negative self-talk, I see it so often in my program, my counseling programs, where people really feel they cannot achieve certain things, but it's because they keep hearing that they cannot achieve certain things. So as part of your program, are you doing self-affirmations as a part of the program and teaching people how to self-affirm and then putting it into action? How does it actually work?
Our process works in different ways, and with our retreats, like the one we have coming up April 28th to 30th, 2017 at Saratoga Spa State Park at the Gideon Putnam, is we have a number of different experts and gurus in different facets of life, whether they're coming from the side of Ericksonian hypnosis or NLP practitioners to yogi masters to people involved in meditation and breakthrough, and people who have actually won world records, multiple world records, authored different books. They come from different perspectives, so we touch upon different modalities because I feel like a bat utility belt. There's no one fix-it-all type approach. There are different things which work better for you than other people or don't work for you, and so we try to provide them all these tools which are at their disposal that they can try out through these events or the retreat that we have going on. And so when we talk about the breakthrough, it takes them through a process in which they have an awareness of where they were, where the stuff evolved, where it's anchored to, like maybe in childhood you were anchored to, this is what you were rewarded for, this bad behavior, and nobody fixed that. And now today, how is that manifest in your career, your life, your finances, whatever else? And then the next part of the process throughout the retreat is to have you work on that and process it in a real manner in which it's hands-on, experiential, as opposed to having people tell you what to do and just talk about it.
And take home a book and have to read the book and figure it all out. Now, the retreat that you're touching on is Festival for Change in Saratoga Springs. We have the Empowerment Retreat on the 28th, starting on Friday the 28th, and then Saturday and Sunday, correct? So we have, during that process, how many teachers, practitioners, educators will be participating in this?
So at the Empowerment Retreat, it runs from Friday to Sunday in the Gideon Putnam Resort, and that has approximately a dozen facilitators, faculty, coming from as far away as Florida, Montreal, and different parts of the United States, sharing their expertise, their insights, and how they were able to achieve what other people would think was impossible, but they were able to achieve it. We have one person who actually won 5 world records, Guinness Book of World Records. One person won 2. And we're going to show people how to achieve those levels of success.
How to do that.
Yes.
Isn't that beautiful? Also, when Deborah Neary was on earlier in the show, we spoke a lot about Saratoga Springs and the healing properties of Saratoga Springs. And you are also having this facility, as we said, at the Gideon Putnam and the grounds in the park, correct?
Right. So we have 2 events running simultaneously. You have the retreat for 3 days, and the Festival for Change, which takes place outdoors in Saratoga Spa State Park amongst the tall pines, the mineral springs, lots of negative ions out there, so a lot of positive energy, the geyser that we have out there. But there's going to be a lot of activity, a lot of presentations going on, demonstrations. There is even actually an outdoor gear swap. So any of the people who show up there, all the guests, it's totally free, 100% free to the public to attend for both days. They could come with their outdoor recreation gear or apparel, and they could swap it with somebody else who's brought their stuff, or just donate it to somebody. It's an opportunity to get people involved in the outdoors, because we feel through the Festival for Change, it's promoting natural health, wellness, fitness, and mindfulness, and the outdoors as well. And through this is what we're trying to introduce people who are not familiar with that to those different modalities of healing, wellness, because I do believe that the first approach to health and wellness is not through a pill. It's through you working on your diet, your nutrition, your mental attitude, all those
mental
things
and
together.
emotional healing too. So you're going to have tours of mineral water tours by Trent Millay, I believe.
Yes.
Yoga classes are going to be participatory. People can participate in yoga classes. You have, I believe, someone doing, what was it? Just lost it. It was a tour. Some other tours are taking place as well, and I can't believe I just lost what I was going to ask you. Isn't that crazy? But essentially, people will be able to be hands-on with people, helping them through whatever it is that they want to learn while they're there that day, and being out in nature. As you said, the tall pines, the water, the grass, the trees. It's a beautiful thing. So that's great. Carson, to my understanding, you are going to provide a discount on the program, for the retreat program, for all of these viewers who are watching today's show and listening to you. The cost of the retreat is $398, but their fee will be $99.
Yes, for the guests who are watching the program today, we're offering a special that if they sign up after they watch this program, they can get the retreat all 3 days for just $99, and all they have to do is enter a promo code that you'll show on your screen.
Promo code is on the screen, so anyone who is interested in attending this retreat, absolutely take a look at the promo code, go on, and it's only $99 for you, which is a steal for a three-day retreat in Saratoga Springs, right?
And the official site for, not where you register, but the official site where they can learn more information about both the retreat and the festival is www.festivalforchange.com, pretty simply put.
Pretty simply put. I want to go back to the Power Mastery just for one second, because I understand that through your Power Mastery program, there's actually trips that you take people on, where on these trips, people overcome challenges or burdens that they've had in their life. Can you touch on that just a little bit? Like, give me one example of one trip and some of the outcomes of that trip.
Sure. Last week we had a trip. We do trips almost every 2 weeks, but we have away trips too. Like, we're going to Yellowstone Grand Teton for the total solar eclipse. Different places. We go from Alaska to China. But the trip we had last week was regional, so we went locally somewhere to Delaware Water Gap. One of the people who showed up who thought they could do the trip, which is a day hike. We go on day hikes, no backpacking. They thought they were able to do it based on them being able to walk so many miles in the city, which is completely different from walking on a trail somewhere, and especially up an elevation which is 1,200 feet, which is almost as tall as the World Trade Center. So she went, she gave up on the trail and pretty much said, I can't do this, I can't continue on. And basically told, I said, the group is moving on, what are you going to do, sleep out here overnight? So we pretty much give people the pain of responsibility to account for themselves, to learn through a process that if it's going to be, it's up to you, right? As opposed to somebody else doing it for you, because I wasn't going to carry her pack.
Right.
And nobody was going to carry her out. She had to do it herself.
Right.
And through that process, we knew that she could do it. It was not impossible. It was a psychological blockage that she had. And so she finally made it out. And after the program, we typically go out to dinner together to socialize and network, and she actually was very thankful that she actually went on the trip, while during the trip she was all every explicative you could think of, and every painful grimace and face. But it wasn't physical pain, because that would be a different matter altogether if I noticed there was physical matters going on.
Right.
But she said that she didn't think she'd be able to do it, and it was manifesting from other things in her life that she noticed, because there was so many things she fell short of that she could have accomplished, that she accomplished there. And she says, you know what, I'm going out and buying shoes this week because I'm going to make hiking part of my activity for health.
Absolutely beautiful. And I'm going back, my memory, where went on a little memory lapse a few minutes ago, was Katrina Clay is going to be doing some meditations, I think, in Saratoga Springs.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She's going to be doing a meditative drum circle.
Yes.
And she's also going to be doing a meditative walk. A lot of these people are coming in, they're not hired by the festival, but they're all doing things that their expertise, and then they want to share that with the other people. And we invite those guests who are coming in to share their talents, to bring their musical instruments, to be part of this festival. It's an outdoor festival. It's open and for families. It's for people to experience, but also learn to connect. So if people have issues with, let's say, diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, survivors, whatever, we want them to interact with other people to find out where they found the information, what did they do which helped them, what did they do that didn't help them. It's a hub. We're trying to create this region as a hub for health and wellness for years to come, because this is the first year. It's becoming an annual event, and as it grows, we want people to understand this region as a place where they could find not only the environmental health and wellness through the mineral springs, the negative ions, and the park and everything else, but the people who are the healers out there, because the people in this area are just unequaled as far as their graciousness and unconditional desire to help people.
The sense of community here in the Capital District, Saratoga County, is beautiful, and anyone that can come to this event, and I want to clarify, this event, Festival for Change, is free. All right, so bring your family, bring your partners, bring your friends. This event is free. The retreat, there's a cost to it. I just want to make sure people understand that. So the retreat at the Gideon Putnam, there's a fee, and again, only $99 for 3 days. The festival out in the park is free. Thank you so very much for all of what you do for helping so many people heal through natural wellness programs, emotional and mental healing as well, physical healing. That's great. Anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up?
I just like to thank you for your time, and I'd like to thank everybody who's going to come out to the event and share what they have, their experiences and their, what they know, and just pay it forward.
Pay it forward. So if you would like more information about Carson and the work that he is doing, go online to carsonworldwide.com.
Yes.
Is that right? carsonworldwide.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carson. I certainly do hope you enjoyed listening to Carson and learning about all of what he has to offer. Between Deborah, Neary, and Carson, you now have many opportunities to go receive wellness in nature and wellness in general. So I really do encourage you to reach out to either Deborah or Carson or both and learn how you can help yourself heal through nature and through natural wellness modalities, services, and products. I do encourage you to head up to Saratoga Springs on April 28th, 29th, and 30th and be participatory in the events that Carson is sponsoring. He has a great reputation in doing large events from U2 to Santana, 30,000 plus people attending these events. Come to Saratoga Springs, be a part of the great healing energy that is there for you. Until next time, be happy, be healthy, and be alive. Namaste.